Hello everyone, my name is Emily and I am 28 years old. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share a very personal story with you. This isn't a story about a fast, crazy romance like in the movies. It's quieter than that. It's about slowly and unexpectedly falling in love, the heavy feeling of keeping a secret, and the scary but beautiful courage it takes to be honest. This is the story of my secret office romance. For 3 years, my life was like a perfect, calm painting. I worked as a graphic designer at a tech company in Seattle. Every day was the same, safe and predictable. I liked my quiet life. I felt safe inside my routines. But sometimes safety can feel a lot like you're standing still. And then something happened that shook my whole world and broke that stillness forever. This change had a name: Ben. Ben was a writer on my team. When he first started, he was just a new coworker. We were very professional. Our talks were always about work. He was nice, funny, and easy to work with. For over a year, he was just Ben, a coworker. I knew small things about him, like he liked tea more than coffee. But I didn't really know him. Everything changed during a very busy time at work. We had a huge project with very late nights. One night I was the last person left in the office. I was past feeling tired. I felt completely overwhelmed by the work. I put my head down on my desk and just wanted to give up. Then I heard a sound. I looked up and Ben was there. He had his coat on, ready to leave, and he looked concerned. "I saw your light was still on," he said softly. "I thought you might still be working hard." I tried to smile. "I'm just fighting with this design. It's winning." He nodded, and he wasn't empty-handed. He held up a small, warm cup. "I was making tea for myself. I thought you might want some. Chamomile with honey, my grandma's cure for everything." Let me stop here. It was a simple, kind action. During the day, with people around, it would just be a nice thing a coworker does. But in that quiet, lonely office, at the end of a hard day, it felt huge. He didn't just give me the tea and leave. He sat down in the chair next to me, and we started to talk. We didn't talk about work. We talked about everything else. He told me about growing up in a small town and how he felt different until he discovered he loved writing. I shared things I hadn't told anyone in a long time. My childhood dream of being an artist, my fear of not being good enough, my love for the smell of old books. The conversation was slow and easy. We would pause, drink our tea, and just be quiet together. At one point, I said something silly about the ceiling, and he laughed a real, happy laugh. I looked at him in that moment, and I really saw him. I saw the smile lines around his eyes. I saw how he moved his hands when he talked. The coworker Ben I knew started to fade away, and I saw just Ben, a kind, interesting person. That hour felt like a dream. When we finally left and walked out into the cool night, the world felt different. The air felt fresh. The city lights seemed brighter. We said a simple, "See you tomorrow," but the space between us felt electric. That night, lying in bed, I thought about our conversation over and over. It wasn't just the words, it was the feeling of being truly seen. Not as a graphic designer, but as Emily. That night was the real start of our secret. What happened next was an exciting, scary, and hidden dance. We started a secret relationship. We both knew the company had rules against it. We knew people would gossip. So we built our own hidden world. At work, we created a secret language of looks and small touches. A small smile from him across the room during a meeting meant, "I'm thinking of you." When our hands touched while passing a paper, it felt more powerful than a kiss. It was our secret promise. Our messages at work were like a secret code. He'd message me, "Hey Emily, did you review the list for the Phoenix project?" If it was sent at 10:04, it meant, "I can't stop thinking about last night." The Phoenix project was our code for our feelings. I'd reply, "Still reviewing, we'll send feedback later." Sent at 11:12, it meant, "Me too, all day." Our first real date was planned like a secret mission. We left the office at different times and took different buses. We met at a small cafe in a neighborhood where no one from work would ever go. I was so nervous walking there. Then I saw him waiting under the cafe's roof, smiling a nervous smile. The moment we were inside, the pressure of hiding was gone. We sat in a booth for 4 hours. We talked and laughed. We were just Emily and Ben, not co-workers, not people keeping a secret. Just two people getting to know each other. He told me he wanted to write a book. I told him I wanted to learn to bake bread. We were completely open and honest. In that little cafe, my feelings for him grew deep and strong roots. But secrets are like carrying a very full glass of water. You can do it if you're careful, but if the world bumps into you, you will spill. The first bump happened at the company summer party. It was on a rooftop with music and nice views. Ben and I were playing our parts, talking to different people. At one point, I was standing by the edge, looking at the water. He came and stood near me like a co-worker would, but then his little finger slowly brushed against mine. It was a small, secret touch that said, "You are mine." It only lasted a second, but it was a second too long. I saw Sarah from marketing. She was looking right at our hands. Her smile stayed, but her eyes changed for a quick second. She looked curious, like she was figuring something out. My heart dropped like a rock. For the rest of the night, I felt like a puppet, pretending to have fun. Inside, I was panicking. Did she see? Does she know? The secret, which once felt exciting, now felt heavy and scary. Every work interaction was filled with new worry. The final bump, the one that made the glass spill over, happened in a big client meeting. Ben was presenting his work. He was doing a great job, but then he said the client's product name wrong. It was a small mistake. Without thinking, I corrected him. It wasn't what I said, but how I said it. My voice was soft, kind, and caring. It wasn't a co-worker's voice. It was the voice you use with someone you love. It was the voice of a girlfriend. The room got completely quiet. You could only hear the projector. I saw our manager look at us strangely. The client looked back and forth between us. Everyone in the room felt it. For one horrible second, they all saw the truth behind our professional masks. After the meeting, we were in shock. That night, we had our first big fight over the phone. "This is getting too hard, Emily," he said, his voice tense. "I'm so tired of hiding. I feel like I'm always acting. I can't even be myself with you, the person I want to be myself with the most." I was crying. "I know, but what can we do? What if we get fired?" "We're not doing anything bad," he said. "We're two adults who care about each other. This secret is starting to hurt us." Did you see how everyone looked at us today? People will start talking soon, and it will get worse. We argued for a long time. It was the first time our connection felt weak and in danger. Our secret, which once felt like a fun game, was now a heavy weight on our relationship. It was stealing our happiness. In the painful quiet after our fight, the truth became clear. He was right. We couldn't go on like this. The weight was breaking us. We had a choice. Let the secret destroy our relationship, or face our fear and be free. We made a brave and scary decision. We decided to stop hiding. We decided to tell the truth. The next week felt like a bad dream. We set up a meeting with our manager, Susan, and a woman from HR named Patricia. The night before, I couldn't sleep. I imagined all the worst things that could happen. We would be fired. One of us would have to quit. We would be the talk of the office. Walking to the meeting was the longest walk of my life. My hands were cold and wet. My heart was beating so fast. Ben quickly squeezed my hand in the hallway before we went in, a gesture that was now our lifeline. We sat down at the big table. The room was too bright. I felt completely exposed. Ben was amazing. He spoke first, his voice clear and strong. "Susan, Patricia, thank you for meeting with us," he said. "We wanted to be completely honest with you. Emily and I are in a romantic relationship." He explained it professionally. He said we were dedicated to our jobs and would always be professional at work. I added my agreement, my voice a little shaky. I waited for the worst, for anger, for a lecture, but it never came. Susan listened and then almost smiled. "Thank you both for telling us," she said. "That was a brave thing to do." Patricia from HR spoke next. "The company's main worry is that the work environment stays professional. As long as you both act professionally and your relationship doesn't hurt your work or the team, it's not a problem." She slid a paper across the table. It was the company's relationship policy. It was simple. No kissing or hugging at work, no letting personal fights affect the team, and you can't be in charge of reviewing each other's work. "We just need you both to read this and sign it," Patricia said. And that was it. The meeting took 15 minutes. 15 minutes for a secret that had controlled our lives for months. When we walked out of that room, I felt so light, like I could float. I looked at Ben and saw the same shocked relief on his face. We didn't have to hide anymore. The fear was gone. The changes were instant and amazing. The next day, we could finally have lunch together in the cafeteria. We could talk about our real weekend plans in front of our coworkers. If I had a bad day, he could bring me a cup of tea right at my desk, and it was just a kind act, not a secret signal. The energy we had used to hide our relationship was now free. We could use it for each other and for our real work. And the best part? Once the secret was gone, our relationship didn't get weaker. It grew stronger. It became more real. We were no longer just partners in a secret. We were partners in life. We could focus on our jobs during the day and be a happy, open couple at night and on weekends. It was 1,000,000 times better. It was freedom. This experience taught me important lessons about love and courage. A secret love can feel very exciting at the beginning. It feels like a special game only you two are playing. The quiet talks, the secret looks, the hidden meetings. It all feels so romantic. But I learned that real strong love cannot grow in the dark. Secrets are like weeds. They start small, but their roots grow deep, and they choke the good, healthy parts of your relationship, like trust and peace. Hiding who you love is exhausting work. It creates a split between your true self and the person you show the world. I also learnt what bravery really is. Being brave doesn't mean you aren't scared. I was completely terrified to walk into that HR meeting. My knees were shaking. Being brave means you feel that fear and you do the right thing anyway. You choose honesty even when hiding seems easier. Our love story didn't end when we told our secret. That was just the beginning of our real story. We built a stronger, happier, and more honest relationship because we chose to step out of the shadows. If you take one thing from my story today, let it be this. The truth can be scary. It might be the most frightening talk you ever have, but it is also the one thing that can set you free. And that freedom, the freedom to be completely yourself, is the only true foundation for a relationship that is meant to last. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It means so much to me to share this with you. If you have your own stories about being brave or about secrets, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Let's be a community that supports everyone being their true selves.